would you say is because everybody has their own, I guess, definition of what a duck is. What does Charles define as a duck?
I think a duck is very clear. Mm-hmm. If you're offered more money for a fight and you don't take it. I mean, these guys aren't fighting for charity, even though Tyson Fury on some days will convince you to believe or try to convince you that he is. They're fighting for money.
It's prize fighting.
Yes. The objective is to get paid first and foremost. Everything else comes after that, including the belts. So if Tyson Fury is offered 70 million, 50 million, whatever million to fight Anthony Joshua, and he takes 20 million to fight someone else, I don't care who that someone else is. He ducked the fight, period. It doesn't matter. So, and we can get into all the weight classes and break it down, how fighters are ducking, other opponents.
We're definitely going to do all that because there's a lot of weight classes where you could say one guy is ducking the other guy. Like, for example, kind of segueing, the light heavyweight division, right? We just had Zotto versus Bivol get made. And before it got made, there was a lot of talk about, from the Zotto side that Bivol never wanted the fight. And he went and he did his own thing. And then now he's beating Canelo. So now he's come back. What do you make of the whole Zotto Bivol fight? And I guess, do you think Bivol ever, avoided or ducked Zotto?
I think that Dmitry Bivol wasn't too enthused about fighting Gilberto Ramirez. I think that fight was first presented to him about 3 years ago. Gilberto has been very, very, very consistent, wanting to fight the best fighters in the world. So people talk about who he has fought or who he hasn't fought, but they don't talk about the fact that the opponents that they bring up not wanting to fight him. So Gilberto Ramirez is willing to fight any light heavyweight in the world, and there's no question about it. So, it's when people start talking resumes, they start talking all this other stuff.
Who have you fought? You beat nothing but bums. That whole talk, the whole rhetoric.
Maybe they need to look at who Dmitry Bivol has fought. So he's had this now one high-profile fight against Saul Alvarez, who may or may not be legitimate at 175. We saw his one-off against Sergey Kovalev, but we know 175 is not his best weight.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people are just making Bivol to be this guy because he won this one fight. Now, should he have taken the fight? Absolutely. I'm not a hypocrite. That's the big money fight for him. That was the big money fight for him. So if that fight was on the table right now, and he chose Alvarez instead of Gilberto, then that's not ducking Gilberto. But if you're trying to find lower tier guys, which Eddie Hearn was trying to find for him, maybe not lower tier, but not on Gilberto's level, then...
Like Buatsi, he was trying to get Buatsi to skip Gilberto in the WBA rankings to make the fight happen with him and Bivol.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to pretend that money would have been more money than the money that they're about to make when they go to, I believe, the Middle East to fight in November. Yep. So it's not like the money isn't there for Bivol. So this guy hasn't fought this person, this guy hasn't fought that person, and that's your reason to not fight him. I want to see how much you're getting paid for the fight. That's what I want to see.
The figures, if the dollars make sense, that type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because the light heavyweight division, there's a lot of moving parts. You got mandatories being made, like Anthony Yarde's WBO mandatory, Callum Smith's WBC mandatory. You got Beterbiev, who a lot of people don't really seem too anxious to fight, and for good reason. Where does he fall in this equation, Beterbiev? Because Bivol obviously the talk with him fighting Zotto, but Beterbiev, do you feel like maybe with Hearn and the whole Zotto situation, do you think maybe they're trying to age out Beterbiev? Because it seems like he can't get those big legacy defining fights himself. He has that problem himself.
I don't think it's Eddie Hearn or Matchroom's responsibility to make Bivol against Beterbiev. One, Matchroom is not technically Bivol's promoter.
Yeah.
And two, Beterbiev is looked at as the top light heavyweight in the world, despite Bivol beating the high profile guy. So no, you got to look at Top Rank the way that they're handling the situation too, because Top Rank stated, that Beterbiev was going in a different direction. So, and that's a situation where you can't say one or the other because both don't seem to be that enthused about making the fight. This is where I stand on it. Artur Beterbiev is the number 1 light heavyweight in the world. Dmitry Bivol is the number 2 light heavyweight in the world. Gilberto Ramirez is the number 3 light heavyweight in the world. That's where I stand. So if Bivol beats Zurdo as he's supposed to, then congratulations. But I can guarantee you this is going to be the toughest fight of Bivol's career. Mm-hmm. I can guarantee that. So he is fighting a legitimate light heavyweight now, not a guy who was fighting at junior middleweight, not that long ago, and then has gravitated up in weight, knocking people out.
What do you call that guy? What's that guy's name?
Saul Alvarez.
Right.
Yes. Who's utilized enhancements.
Mm. There you have it. Well, like I'm with you. I'm in the same line of thought. Like I think Gilberto Ramirez. I'm actually picking him to beat Bivol. I'm going with the upset. But what, from your perspective, why do you feel like Zurdo will give Bivol his toughest fight?
I think Zurdo is very underrated in terms of ring generalship. Very underrated. People, I guess, are looking at him as a traditional come-forward Mexican fighter.
Slow-footed, cement-footed Mexican.
Who throws a lot of punches and is there to be hit. He has subtle defensive skills, not elite, subtle. He has a size advantage against Bivol. He knows how to use his size. And when a guy has a size advantage and is more active and the volume puncher, you're going to have your hands full. I mean, I don't know when you don't have your hands full in that situation, because generally the bigger guy does not throw as many punches. In this particular fight, I expect Zurdo to throw more punches. I do believe Bivol has greater boxing skill. Mm-hmm. So if I had to put my life on it and bet on the fight, I would say Bivol is going to win 115, 113. But if he loses, which there is a very good chance that Zurdo wins, I'm not going to be yelling, running around saying this is a major upset. The guy is the 3rd best light heavyweight in the world, and he's fighting the 2nd best.
And regardless of what people say out there about, because I see some comments. So, by the way, guys, if you're jumping comments, we're going to get to them in a second, so just be patient. But a lot of you guys are saying, like, well, who has Zurdo fought? How many champions has he fought? Listen, I don't care if it's a champion or whoever. If you fight 43 people, 43 or 40 plus people, and you manage to come out victorious every time, and a lot of these guys are top contenders. Some guys are ex-champions. You're beating these guys soundly almost every occasion. Then that speaks to the level of your consistency and your quality as a fighter. Like kind of like in a similar way, like Terrence Crawford. They say Terrence Crawford hasn't fought nobody, but who exactly has made it a close fight with Terrence Crawford? He's showing you that consistency and that quality across 3 weight classes for the last more than half a decade plus. So.
Yes.